Good morning, Michael.
I close my eyes only for a moment, and the moment's gone. All my dreams.
Why are you going so slow? Pick it up, pick it up.
You were going slow.
Pass before
my eyes, a curiosity. Dust in the wind.
You gotta work on your tempo.
Dust in the
Are we wind. No, I don't know. I was on tempo. I was on key.
I just sneezed.
We didn't even make it to the chorus. Maybe that is a delay issue.
Dust in the wind. I think we're delayed. All we are is dust in the wind. I
was hoping to harmonize there at the chorus, but we never made it that far.
No.
Hey, is that song indicative of your vibe?
We got no food. We got no job. We got no quarterback. Our pets' heads are falling off. Cooper Flag canceled our visit. Yeah. No, it's a little meltdowny. It's a little meltdown mode. Wouldn't you say?
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm not. I don't feel like I'm in meltdown
Actually,
mode. Maybe others are.
There's a lot happening, and I think there's been some melting down on social media, on X, and I think we are going to help alleviate that. I don't think I'm really there either. There's no reason to be. There's a 4-1 football team with a loss to Texas.
A top
Everything's
team in the
okay.
Country.
Everything is okay. Though there are questions.
Yeah. Of course.
Serious questions.
Of course there are questions, but that's no reason to be smashing the panic button. Can I address something really quickly? Because I've sort of established myself, when you start to do podcasts like this and videos like this, and you start to gain massive amounts of notoriety and fans.
Yes, of course.
Sort of established myself as the fashionista, right? The fashion icon of the two of us. And that's no shot at you, but a lot of people are hitting me up. Hey, Nick, what a cool shirt. What a cool hat. This hat I wore a few episodes ago, and I had many people, countless amounts of people hitting me up on social media. Nick, what a great hat. Nick, where'd you get the hat? Nick, drop the link. I'd love to get the hat. Here's the reason why I have not dropped the link for anybody who wants to get this really cool KU flag hat. The person who's made it and sold it to me is afraid that if they start going widespread with the sale of this hat, that KU is going to come after them for copyright issues. Therefore, I think they're working on some legalities to make sure they can get like a licensing thing to actually sell this hat. So, exclusive hat maybe will be available to you at some point in the future. Mike, you and I can attest to being on the business end of KU's legal gun. I mean, we lasted one episode with our former logo before they came at us and said, fix it. Change it.
KU pursues its trademark, as businesses do. And I think that's known. It was quick. It happened very quick on our end. We did have an outline of a Sexy Legs Jayhawk. I don't know the legalities of it. This is your lead to this podcast? A hat? An exclusive hat?
Yeah. Do you think I should have led with something else?
This crew neck is from Homefield, my partner, my sponsor.
Oh, wow.
#ad.
Shameless plug. Hey, also wearing a Homefield shirt today.
Hey,
but not KU.
That's
UC Irvine.
That's a great shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's your intro. All right.
I didn't plan it. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, well, I'm out here dropping sick Dumb and Dumber references, sick old school references with songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think we need...
Not Dumb and Dumber, but it's okay.
I thought you're like, I have notoriety. People are asking me about Jaylen Daniels. We're going to do that today.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. We're going to address
do the
Jaylen
intro.
Daniels
do
rumors.
The thing.
Okay,
do the thing.
Here's the thing. All right, let me do the thing real quick. Jaylen Daniels cannot stay healthy. Jason Bean started again, this time in a losing effort. Is this defense bad? Why was I not online during the game? We're going to do a little vibe check after the KU loss, put our finger on the pulse of Kansas Nation, figure out how people are feeling now after being 4-1 on the season. We did get some video submissions, Mike. People are showing it, and they're showing it quite tastefully, might I add. Travis Goff issued a pretty strongly worded statement trying to get fans into the booth for KU UCF this weekend. Also this weekend, I don't know if you knew this, late night in the Phog. It always kind of pops out at us. We've got late night in the Phog. Kansas basketball season officially begins this Friday. All that, Mike, and much, much more. This is Could Be Wrong.
And I could be wrong. You guys could look at this. And I could be wrong on this. I could be wrong, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that. You'd have to ask him, but
that was good.
Thank you.
I want to give Flo Rida some love today.
All right, KU lost to Texas. The final score, 41-14. Is this one of those games where we're going to get there afterwards and we're going to sit down and say, well, final score not quite indicative of how close the game was? I love doing that, by the way.
No, I think the final score was entirely indicative of how close the game was. In fact, KU being close was somewhat miraculous there in the third quarter. The team was very opportunistic. One of my friends said it was like watching a pitcher get shelled for 6 innings, but they only give up, 2 runs. They just get out of jams every inning. Cross sport references generally sometimes frowned upon. I thought that was really good. KU gave up, over 600 yards. The offense completed like a small handful of passes. They got their butts kicked. I think it was indicative. The score was appropriate for what we saw. It was really a frustrating game. Should have been closer. Wait.
Are you saying it should have been closer?
I'm not saying, the opportunity was there. I would like to rephrase that. I think it was frustrating for a lot of us because there was clear opportunity missed.
40-14, by the way, the final score. I'm sorry for attributing 1 extra point to Texas. Not that would have really changed anybody's feeling about the game afterwards.
Embarrassing.
I believe what you are alluding to when you talk about the opportunities of this game being closer is the performance of Jason Bean, who was the starting quarterback in this one, because mere minutes before the game kicked off down in Austin, the reports started coming out that Jaylen Daniels not only wasn't suited up, but didn't even take the field for warmups before the game because of its back issues. We were dealing with this all offseason. I should say he was dealing with this. But you know what? When Jaylen Daniels has back issues, it feels like all of Jayhawk Nation has back issues because we have a lot of sanity invested into the performance and the health and well-being of Jaylen Daniels. So the back issues, which kept him out of a lot of the summer workouts, it kept him out of week 1 versus Missouri State. It also kept him out of this game. Jason Bean started 9 of 21, 136, 1 touchdown. It's bad stat line, but I'll be honest with you, Mike. I feel like that stat line is almost too good compared to the eye test of Jason Bean, because the eye test was not great versus a really, really talented Texas defense. The play that everybody, I think, is going to remember is the 3rd and 5, where it looked like if he wasn't going to get the first down, he was going to get damn close to it by just, doing what he does best, which is running really fast in a straight line. But instead, he decides to bounce it to the outside, gets tackled at the line of scrimmage. KU punts the ball. Now, is that the difference between KU winning and losing? Probably not, but it felt like one of those moments that could have sort of dictated where the game was going to go from there. And that, I think, is just a microcosm of the game in a nutshell. That's the game in a nutshell, and that's also Jason Bean in a nutshell. When you compare and contrast these two quarterbacks, I said, a few weeks ago, I thought the biggest difference between Bean and Daniels was between the ears. You pushed back on it, and I'm getting closer to your side now. It's not just mental stuff. Like, there's actually a skill level there that Jaylen Daniels has that Bean doesn't. The instincts, the ability to see the field vision, decision making, like it was all on display. And that, I think, in large part is why the game got so ugly. Now, I'm not putting it all on Jason Bean. We can get to the defense in a bit, but
when are you gonna?
We saw enough from Bean in that game to make it very, very clear that like there is a distinct difference between him at quarterback and Jaylen Daniels at quarterback.
So are you hitting me with the "you're right, I'm wrong, you're smart, I'm dumb"? The Adam Sandler.
I'm not going that far. No, I'm not going to go that far.
I'm so sorry.
But you were right.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, baby. I love your kids' finger paintings.
Like Jason Bean really good at running straight. Anything else gets a little concerning. He had a bad game. I can put the glasses on if you want for a minute. I'll avoid it at this point.
Where mine are at. I need to locate my spectacles. Actually, you talk. I'm going to get my glasses.
Okay, please do. The other play that I think a lot of us will Nick just left. The other play I think a lot of us will remember is 4th and short and 3rd and short, but I think it was a 1-score game at this point. Triple option out of the shotgun, fumble on the play. It was just and that's not even necessarily Jason Bean's fault, but it was a frustrating play. The other thing really was, I think he was put in the game wasn't made easy on him. It was chaotic from the start. Bean he wasn't planning on starting this game until Saturday. He didn't practice with the starters. The scheme, the game plan was all for Jaylen Daniels. And it felt like KU was basically either running like a triple option or taking deep shots with Bean. It's a lot of decision making, a lot of hard throws.
Oh, you mean they were asking him to be a quarterback? They were asking him to make decisions and make throws? How dare the coaching staff expect their quarterback to do quarterback things?
You have a backup. You have a chaotic situation. Build some confidence. Ease in there. Warm it up. Oh, hold on. Glasses are on. The glasses are on.
And you know why the glasses are? You know why the glasses are? The glasses are on today because you're being Twitter nerd. You're being Twitter play calling criticism nerd.
Oh,
yeah. You're a guy on Twitter who, because the game didn't go the way you thought it did, you have now become an expert offensive mind, and you are criticizing the play caller who we have all been praising for the better part of the last year and a half in Andy Kotelnicki. He's a great play caller, but one game didn't go our way. And now all of a sudden we have an issue with the game plan he's coming up with. Twitter nerd.
This is a
Twitter nerd.
That's pretty mild criticism, which is like not even his whole play calling. Just early, get him an easy throw. I'm asking for one play. One play is the criticism. Well, 2 plays.
You're playing the number 3 team in the country. Dumbing down the game script is not going to get you out of Austin with a dub.
And that is
like you gotta play your A game. You can't play a rudimentary offense and expect to go beat the number 3 team in America.
I'm not disagreeing with any of that. I just felt like Bean was put in a hard position.
Well, they didn't know he was going to start until an hour before the game. What do? Scrap the entire game plan and make a new one on the fly? Like, I mean, at that point, it's one thing.
Do something.
I mean, you go through a week of installs, you go through a week of game planning and preparation.
I bet you that original game plan was sick.
Yeah, it was a winning game plan. That's what it was. Yeah. It was an upset. It was an upset-worthy game plan. But that's the issue with finding out your starting quarterback can't go on the day. It's one thing to find out on Monday, and then you can prepare for Jason Bean being the quarterback. Like, I think they were just put in a really tough position, and at that point, you really have no option but to go with what you were already planning on doing.
So let's do the Daniels thing. Should we do the Daniels thing?
Are we doing it? Are we showing the Daniels thing now?
I think we have to because we're not going to go anywhere with Bean. Like, I understand where you're at. It was a bad game. We've seen Bean before. Like, Jason Bean is like a Kansas quarterback that we've seen the last 10 years. He's a high tier KU quarterback. beyond Jaylen Daniels.
Yeah, which is a funny thing to say following the conversation we just had. To say, like, yeah, this guy was terrible. And then to close it accurately, by the way, saying,
thank you.
But he's one of the best we've had. He's one of the best we've had in the last 14 years, which is factual.
Yep. So
okay, I want to start.
We
have
have to remember that. Let's do Jalon.
Okay, I want to start with this. Yesterday, my dad was at the airport, and he just texted me out of the blue and said,
"This is promising."
This is a direct quote. Hadn't thought about it, but bumped into a KU guy at the airport. He thinks Daniels held out because he's going into the portal. Bogus? Mike, would you address that rumor?
Jaylen Daniels is hurt. That's the answer to that question. There's an injury. It has been an ongoing injury. I believe we're probably beyond back tightness, which is what it's called. I use those words. It sounds like maybe some nerve issue, leg pain included, in that it didn't get better throughout the day. So you're probably not going to put him out there. So I feel confident that he is not holding out for next year. I don't really think that that's in the game.
By the way, can you imagine
Team Daniels?
Can we just entertain this rumor really quickly and just go through the processing of it? That Jaylen Daniels coming 4-0, KU's 4-0 on the season. They're ranked. They're going into the biggest game of the year so far. I mean, if he can go, it's the biggest start of his college career. And he's like, now is the perfect time for me to execute my master plan of getting the fuck out of Kansas. Now is my opportunity. Game day. I'm going to hold out, and you're never going to see me wearing crimson and blue again.
If Jaylen Daniels wanted to leave Kansas, he would have left Kansas this offseason. Probably could have gone to UCLA back home. Like, that's the master plan. Someone got in his ear and said, "Hey, you don't want to play today. You're risking future."
What are you doing? What an idiot. Why would you even think about playing in this game?
There have been some crazy rumors here.
Is it crazier than that?
No, mostly along those lines. Like, oh, he's holding out to go to Michigan State with Lance next year, which is insane. Like, going that specific is wild. No, that's it's not the case. What else? Like NIL related holdouts.
Holding out for the bag.
Holding out for the bag. What else? Like,
that's a great way to make money, by the way, not playing.
Yeah. That he's just this idea that he's soft. The conversation was really
S word
negative.
Came out. I didn't know the S word came out for JD.
Do your back tightness like spiel, or your back injury spiel from the beginning of the year, because it's so good. Okay,
so somebody told me this. It was actually Mitch Holtis, who's the voice of the Chiefs. A lot of our listeners probably know who he is. Several years ago, we were talking to him about, I think it was Dontari Poe, who Chiefs fans remember is, having a really, really great couple of years as the nose tackle for the Chiefs. And the dude was like 380 pounds, like just an absolute behemoth of a human being. And he had back issues, as football players often do. And a few weeks had passed. He was still dealing with these back issues, and I think he was a free agent, and the Chiefs weren't re-signing him. And I said, why wouldn't you re-sign this guy? Like, are the back issues that big of a deal that they don't think he's ever going to be healthy again? And Mitch said to me, you ever met someone with like a lot of back pain and a lot of back issues, and then you run into him again 5 years later and you say, how's the back? Those people ever tell you, oh, it's great. Best it's ever felt. All the pain completely gone. I feel healthier than I ever have. That never happens. People who have back issues, generally speaking, have back issues forever. They don't just go away. So
yeah,
the
they're
idea
recurring
that,
too.
the idea that this kept him out for extended period of time in the offseason and is now creeping up again during the season shouldn't be all that surprising to anyone who's ever dealt with back pain.
And here's the if he's having leg pain at this point and you're not sure what's going on before you get him in maybe some imaging, like an MRI, or even if it's getting worse, it's not better. You certainly don't play your quarterback who you need the rest of the season. It's just like, it's pretty simple. And hey, the staff hasn't really been wildly transparent about if Jalon is going to play or not. There's the gamesmanship you and I have discussed before. So I get that it's a here we go again. It's a deja vu. KU fans, like at least myself, watching KU be good at football is like, I do wait for something terrible to happen. I feel like it's going to happen. And so I think everyone is really quick to hit the panic button. And that's what we're seeing. Instead, it sucks. You have a quarterback who's really good and missed one of the bigger games of his career, if not the biggest. So I've got sympathy for him and hope we get to see him again. If not versus UCF, not versus Oklahoma State, maybe after the bye. I don't know yet. He's got to get healthy.
Cook and Lance Leipold and his staff, they are not unique in that regard of playing.
They're not.
Injuries close to the vest. Like in college, you don't have to release those official injury reports and status designations. So why would you? Why would you offer that?
We did the information. Yeah, we did the gamesmanship thing early in the year, and you said they didn't need it. Maybe not the. What about in Big 12 play? Like these, the margin here is like 2 to 3 points. It's different.
So So if you just imagined last week, let's say they knew that Jaylen Daniels was having back tightness all week long. I don't think there's gamesmanship in terms of right. I know, but I'm just hypothetical scenario. If they did know, would it not behoove them to have Texas not preparing for Jaylen Daniels in that, he's this offense is going to be so much different. We're going to change up our game plan. It's just that, no, he's so good. So if they think he's going to go, they're going to spend all week on Jaylen Daniels in a way that they could utilize their time differently if it was Jason Bean. If it was Jason Bean in at quarterback, they wouldn't spend all week preparing for Jason Bean. They would spend all week preparing for something else. Now, all of that is stupid because they still, right? Jason Bean started and they still won by 1,000,000 points. So, like, it doesn't really matter.
There's flaws in the changeup you're throwing at them.
Yeah,
but,
so.
Okay, so different than early season show it all, gang.
Yeah, I think this is a little different. Yeah, and same thing
I think so
this week with UCF.
So
but now that information is out there, I think it does kind of help UCF in a way.
So, yeah. So, vibe check. Sky's falling. We did like last week. We did. Is the dream season possible? Now, is there like a nightmare season that's possible?
I don't know if it's a nightmare season, but it's a nightmare compared to the dream season. I feel like this is deja vu all over again, Mike. I feel like I'm in the exact same spot at the exact same time I was one season ago. Our quarterback is injured. We were undefeated. We lost a game, and now you're staring down the barrel at your entire Big 12 slate, wondering if this is going to be another 6-win season. Because A, Jaylen Daniels can't go, and Jason Bean's going to be your starting quarterback for the rest of the year. And B, didn't even touch on this, Mike. The Kansas defense just surrendered 661 yards of offense to Texas. I know that it's Texas. I'm not asking for you to shut them down. I'm asking for you to make it respectable. Now, Jaylen Daniels is in the game. Maybe, KU can put up 40 points. They've certainly done it before. They've shown the ability to win in shootouts. So maybe that game plays out a little differently. Turns out that the offense staying on the field can actually have a positive impact on the defense because they're on the field for less time. But because KU couldn't stay on the field, the defense was put in an impossible spot to try and shut down this very, very potent Texas offense. So it all works hand in hand. You're welcome for explaining football to everybody out there. If you're new to this sport, that's pretty much how it works. but you didn't play well on offense. Your defense gave up 1 million yards. And that's the recipe for getting blown out, which is exactly what happened down in Austin. So vibe check, not great. Vibe check, not great right now, Mike.
Is the defense inherently like bad? Is the defense bad? Or like they're playing this? They were clearly playing like, we're not giving up the deep play. We're not going to give up the broken play and try to make them kick some field goals. Like the strategy did work in some ways, but they also just got dominated. So
how many teams are there in college football? I think there's 130, 133, something around there.
Sure.
Last year, let me go ahead and pull these out. Last year, Bill Conley's SP Plus. Yep, but I beat you to it, so you can't make fun of me for something I make fun of myself for. Last year, Bill Connolly's SP Plus had Kansas as a bottom 10 defense in the country. So they ranked somewhere around like 125th, right? Very, very, very bad. This year, they're in the 80s. So in the grand scheme of things, you're still a bad defense despite making pretty significant improvements.
Massive improvements.
In the grand scheme of things, you've gotten better at defense, but you're still one of the bottom 50 defenses in the country out of 133 teams. So the defense is still bad despite being better than a season ago.
My glasses moment. This is the last thing I'm saying about it. The defense graded better on Pro Football Focus than the offense.
Oh God.
It was just a shit show. That's all.
Major glasses moment.
Major glasses. Record predictions. We do this every week. Every week. Is your record prediction changed?
Yeah, it has to. It has to until I know the status of Jaylen Daniels. I think last week, what was I at? 9-3? It was 10-2
Sure.
Dream season. No, it was 10-2 Dream season. You only lost to Texas and Oklahoma. That is still technically on the table. But until I know more about Jaylen Daniels' status, I don't feel comfortable predicting the Dream season anymore. Even if it's just one more Jason Bean start. Like if Jason Bean starts against UCF, do you have a ton of confidence that KU is going to get a win? I think they're what
They're favored
in this game. Yeah. What's the line? Have you checked it today?
Your SP Plus says UCF favored. No, I haven't checked it. I'll pull up some. Let me see what the Sharps are doing. I don't even have it.
Oh wow, the Sharps.
Oh,
you keep your finger on the pulse of the Sharps, huh?
I watch. The Sharps show it, and I watch. Sharps are pro bettors. It's come down a point since opening. 2.5.
Yeah, it's 2.5.
2.5.
I'm going to predict. I'm going with 8-4 right now. It gives me a little bit of wiggle room if Jaylen Daniels comes back in. I'm going 8-4.
All right, so I'm going to say.
By the way, 8-4 is still a wildly successful season.
8-4 is awesome. 8-4 is awesome. Also, you split the next two. You're 5-2. Oklahoma, you're 5-3. Beat Iowa State 6. You know what? I'll say. I'll go to 7-5. I'm down a little bit. 7-5.
Okay.
Which is
bad.
Still. No, I disagree. I don't think it's that bad.
It's worse than 8-4 though, and you can't deny that.
I can't deny it, and I won't deny it. I cannot.
Okay, we're going to get into some video submissions. By the way, if you ever have takes, and you want to share them with us, and you want to show it on Could Be Wrong.
Show it.
All you got to do is DM us. DM us a video. DM us an audio file. We've got a little bit of both. We've still got the Google form if you want to submit them that way as well. But this one was a Twitter DM. And let's see if we can pull this up.
Hey, Nick. Hey, Mike. So, just got done watching the game, and I could be wrong, but I think the biggest game changer was the 4th and inches when we did not go under center. it was very reminiscent of a David Beatty type play. And I just don't understand what Andy Kotelnicki and Lance were thinking there. They could have probably picked that up pretty easily, put Bean under center for a sneak. We've done that before. I don't know if they're afraid to run a QB sneak or something, but I think that was the biggest thing of the game that swung it in Texas' direction. And then lastly, anyone that's blaming Jalon for the loss, I think they're pretty bad fans, and hope to see them maybe apologize for some of the stuff they've been saying about him and his injuries, because you can't do much about back injuries that keep showing up like that. So
I just want to note he seemed very dejected. That is not a guy who's having good vibes.
That was right after that game. That had to be right after the game. That is a sad football fan. I'm like, that's how a lot of people felt. It was just like, that sucked. Every part of it sucked. Every part of it. Like,
when did that play happen?
That was the third quarter. I think it might have been a one possession game.
Yeah, so it was 4th and 1. KU was at their own 38-yard line, and the score was, it was 14 to 20 still. Okay, so there's a couple things there. One, how many times has Jason Bean went under center for KU? Is that something where they're just not comfortable with him taking a snap under center because he doesn't do it?
I don't care. Put Jared Casey behind him. Put Jared Casey behind him. Tell Bean to hold on to the ball, and he's going flying. Casey's sending him. That's what you do. And maybe you have Highshaw behind Casey also pushing. That's it. It doesn't matter. It's just the easiest possible scenario, I think.
I think there's probably also an element of Texas has a bunch of NFL players on their defensive line.
Yeah, their line's great.
The idea of getting push against them is probably not your best option. So like, hey, let's do what we do best, which is misdirection.
Bread and butter play. Yeah.
Right? We're going to do some misdirection. We're going to get them guessing. They're not going to know where we're going. And that's how we pick up. I mean, that is, if you want to talk about sticking to your identity, KU stuck to their identity in that moment. It didn't work, but those are the decisions that coaches agonize over, in the nights after those games, because you say, should we because if you stick with what you do best, if you do what you do best and it works, it's, hey, this is why Kansas offense is so dynamic. If you go against what you do, right, you go under center, you don't get it, Texas's D-line just gets all this push, you don't even get close to the first down, then the criticism afterwards is, why are you all of a sudden a team going under center? This is not what you do. This is not how your offense is built. What made you think that in like the most critical moment of the game, you're going to change up what you do best and it doesn't work? So like, I can understand the thought process of kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I don't know that they'd be criticized for running a sneak. Generally, that's how it works. I don't know that they'd be criticized for that. Also, if Highshaw maybe doesn't mess up the option there, looks like it was Highshaw's fault, maybe a little bit of both, the play's probably there. So it sucked. I do understand going with the bread and butter play, but I still think you put him under center and have Jared. For some reason, I've decided that Jared Casey's the best option for tush push. He's little. He can squeeze through there.
Despite no evidence to suggest that
he's got great hands. He's a good blocker, so he can, if
what's
anyone's making that play, it's Jared Casey.
What's so interesting is like Jared Casey never touches the ball out of the backfield. Anytime he gets the ball, like we have taken this sort of runt of a tight end. He's like 5'10", 250 pounds, and we're like, no, he's a pass catcher.
Yeah. He's got great hands.
Whatever. I don't hate it. It's just an interesting observation.
He's made some great catches. No, it's funny. Did we get more?
Yeah, we have. This one is just a video submission, or sorry, an audio submission. So
Okay.
no video on this one.
I'd like to share a take. I don't know if this works or not, but I could be wrong. But I am calling bullshit that the Lawrence, Kansas bar selection draft that just happened on Could Be Wrong. I'm calling bullshit that was not a total plant, a ruse, a clever marketing trick to enrage the masses. Blue team selections cannot be real. I'm triggered by this, and I was compelled to share.
I believe
just
I
called
was blue
us-
team.
You were blue team. He just called us like big game boomer. We're just
Yeah.
making lists to troll people, and that we were gonna pick two sides of it.
It works. Hey,
He
if it
came
works,
at
it
you.
works. If it works,
He came
it
at
works.
you hard.
Right? Make the list so bad that you get engagement based off of it.
How do you feel about that?
I don't love it. I think where I lost a lot of people. So this has happened a couple of times. Many people have. Somebody came up to me on Saturday. I was at a golf tournament, and they were like, "Hey, I listened to your podcast."
Really?
Yeah, and they said the fact that you went wheel over hawk at number 1 is the worst decision ever made. But here's the thing: a lot of people supported me in taking the wheel first overall. It was later in the list where I kind of got crushed. I don't have any issues taking the wheel over the hawk. If I had a redo, I would do it again. The wheel is one of the greatest college bars in America. I think
I
where
have
I
no
got in
issue with
trouble,
that. Yeah.
I got in trouble because this is what happens, man. You start to assemble your team and then you play defense. I see who you're drafting. Now I've got to draft someone to try and like mix it up. And I think I got in trouble picking replay 4th overall, but I stand by my draft. I like replay. I like going on the patio, hearing live music. You got the grill going. Like, that's a different vibe. I have no problem with it. The issue is there are 2 types of Lawrence bar
Correct.
connoisseurs.
Correct.
Do you want to go somewhere and have a beer and shoot pool and play darts? Or do you want to go somewhere, rip shots, and make out with a random chick you just met in line? Like those are the two types of people who go to Lawrence bars. You did the make out with random chicks bars. I did the drink beer and shoot pool bars.
Yes, that is exactly right. And it's not a coincidence that the golf tournament person is going to be on team make out at the Hawk. Like, there, we definitely represented the 2 types. I have no problem with wheel over hawk is fine. Almost expected. What about what was that bar, that pool hall on Mass that opened up after we graduated? Is that still a thing? You know what I'm talking about? They had pool and ping pong, big bar right off Mass.
Leroy's.
Did you used to play ping pong at Leroy's?
No.
All right.
Why is that even a question?
Ignore that. I had a thought that I maybe saw you there one time and we had an awkward moment as well.
No, the only awkward moment we ever had was at the Bull.
Right.
Well, it wasn't
which you
awkward.
addressed last week.
You were hammered. I was working. You're like, "Hey, you're that guy." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm that guy." And you said, "I love your work. I listen to everything you do. You're going to be a stud. Maybe we could link up someday down the road." You had the foresight. You predicted this podcast a decade in
I was
advance.
not wrong. I was not wrong. I was hearing it loudly. Sounds just like me. Now, give me a moose bowl. No, you got roasted, and I love that. And thank you for the video submissions and audio
you know
submissions.
what? I did get a lot of support on the actual Twitter draft. So the one we put out on Twitter, a lot of people were like, "Actually, I'm on Team Nick," and that's just
Well, the Hawk
vibes.
will. There are some
vibes.
people who will like just not accept the Hawk, for the record. Like that,
Yes.
I lost some people with that pick alone. Though I stand by that pick, and I would have taken it first overall. No problem with the wheel, though. Those are 1 and 2. It's 1 and 2.
Okay, I want to get into something that we probably should have touched on earlier, but Travis Goff's statement that he released last week. This is kind of a thing, and I think it coincides with the recent chatter that perhaps Lance Leipold is being courted once again by a Big Ten school looking for a new head coach. Last year, it was Wisconsin and Nebraska. This time around, Michigan State. They fire Mel Tucker for being creepy, or maybe worse than being creepy. I don't really know the details there, so I probably should have just not said anything at all. But you know what? I show it. I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Saw it. I see it.
Yeah. Travis Goff issued a lengthy statement. First thing, make it shorter next time, Travis. Love you, bud. But like
+1.
These statements too long. Right? I ain't got time for all that. Just
2 paragraphs. Show up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Two paragraphs. Show up. We need fan support. Probably would have got the job done. But I believe these two things are linked. So the general, if I am to paraphrase, he said he was calling out fans who he said are on the fringe. People are saying they're all in for the program, but they're not stepping up. They're not showing up to the game. If you're staying on the sideline, it's not going to help this program reach unprecedented heights. We need you. Basically, buy tickets. Go to the games, right? We need to pack the booth. And I would imagine that's because he knows or believes that to be very important to keeping Lance Leipold at KU. Is that a fair connection to draw?
That is, yes, that is the connection to draw. It matters to the players. It matters to Lance. He's going to support both of them in this regard, but there's a reason in what regard.
But just one more question. One more question.
Okay.
It's one thing for him to say that's important, but it does feel like you are sending a statement by saying that. That's not just something you would randomly say throughout the year because you want more fan support. Like, there is a message behind the message, correct?
Yes. The message to me is the opportunity is here, and we're going to do everything possible to make sure and not fuck it up, which includes me being super proactive and asking KU fans to show up, because the coach is going to be agitated. The players are going to be agitated if they're not getting the fan support. The opportunity, it's like, if not now, when? And I know people say there's been this history. KU fans are obviously like skittish after the last 15 years. I get it. It's the statement was probably unfair, but it's not unreasonable given the opportunity. And what I mean by that is the good coach is here. The money for the stadium, half of the stadium, by the way, not the whole thing, is here. And conference realignment is here and continuing. The stakes have never been higher, and you do everything in your power to make sure that it continues on this path, on this trajectory, I should say. So you don't want to look back and be like, yeah, they got pissed. I didn't do anything. Maybe I could have helped a little bit. Like that's it. Go get it if you think the opportunity is there. So I get why he did it, though. It doesn't help when you get blown out a few days later and your coach is then in a Bruce Feldman report about job.
Should KU fans be operating under the assumption heading to this weekend's game that if there is not a packed house, then the likelihood of Lance Leipold leaving for Michigan State or whatever other job creeps up is going to increase?
Maybe by like 1%. I'm not saying sellout, but you need a good crowd. I think you need to show the team some support here. Show the coaching staff that they're going to be able to bring recruits in, the caliber of recruit that they want, and that it's not going to be an embarrassment, and that they're going to see a program on the rise. It all matters into their ability to win long term, but the consequences of not doing it right now are genuinely like grave.
So I don't know if I take issue with this. I don't take issue with the statement at all.
It's hard. It's a tricky one.
He needed to do that. Like, that's his job. And every AD that's come before him, Shanzanger used to do this, Jeff Long used to do this. And all those coaches that they'd hired did this as well, talking about the importance of getting fans in seats. It's important for the perception of your program. It's important for recruits. It's important for players because nobody wants to play in front of an empty stadium. The problem in past years was that the team on the field was giving them no reason to show up. So all of those requests rang hollow. And I feel like for the people that are pushing back on this statement, that's sticking in their head a little bit. They're saying, we've heard this before. We heard it under the past few guys, and it was always dumb then. So like you're still you're thinking about those memories while you're hearing Travis Goff saying what he says. The issue that I have is I feel like there's this thing that's begun, and maybe it's more of an online thing because you got to realize the people that he's actually trying to reach are not the people who are responding on Twitter. They're the people who aren't on Twitter. Like
Correct.
The thousands of fans that you really need to like change this, they're not the people who are on Twitter getting into arguments about why they're not buying season tickets anymore.
Correct.
The pushback that I have is like the almost like the shaming that some fans are doing for the people that are on the fringe, right? On the sideline, not going to games. You have to realize this is not just like a fan thing, it's a human thing. If you had season tickets for 10 years or for 20 years, and then all of a sudden the 2011 to 2022 time span hit, and then you realize, like, why am I making plans to go to Lawrence 6 times a year to watch the worst college football program in the country? I'm not getting my season tickets anymore. There's no reason. My family doesn't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it. I'm done making this a priority. So that 2 years go by. Now Kansas is kind of good at football again. It's not as though you just say, okay, I'm back. I'm re-upping my season tickets. I'm going to be back there. No, you've moved on. You've made new priorities. Maybe you've retired. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you have other things going on the weekends where you'd say, yeah, that's cool that they're doing well. I would love to go to games again, but my priorities have shifted. I'm just not the guy I was 20 years ago. I'm not. Yeah, exactly. I'll go when I can, when it works out, but I'm not all of a sudden going to, because like K-State fans do this very well. The schedule comes out at the beginning of the year. They check the 6 home games. Okay, not doing anything on those Saturdays, right? Telling the wife, telling the husband, telling the kids, hey, these 6 Saturdays, don't make any other plans because we're going to the game. KU fans aren't built like that because they don't have a decade of great memories to draw on to make those decisions.
Fun. Yeah, it hasn't been rewarding.
So it's not this idea that KU fans are super against the idea of going to games. We don't want to do this anymore. That's not the case. It's just that they've moved on. Priorities have shifted. Their lives have changed, and they're not drawing on these great experiences to pull them back to KU football games on Saturdays. And as great as this has been under Lance Leipold, it's almost like he got good too quick because it takes more than just 2 years for fans to fully get bought back in. It really does. I know it didn't take him that long to get this program turned around. It's happened much quicker than any of us imagined, but the fan may take a little bit more prodding than just a year and a half of good football to say, you know what, they're right. I need to be in that booth and support this team.
I don't know. I mean, it's totally fair. The stakes are higher than they've been in the past. And that's the message Travis Goff has to keep putting out there. And I don't know how you change a culture like that, sustain a winning new stadium. Like it all helps, but you've got Central Florida coming to town. And I don't know, like you also don't want to, frankly, like a Deion Sanders, Colorado. Yeah, they're going to pack the house. The second he's gone, those people are gone. So you need a true, in order to do this right, it is a true long-term shift. And that is going to be done more grassroots, more long-term. I don't know what it's going to take to have it happen every week. I just don't. Probably not UCF coming to town, but it still matters. Like, so you do what you can. You got to do what you can. I think it'll still end up being a good crowd, but it won't be, doesn't look like it'll be sold out.
Do you think you would be at every game if you lived in Kansas?
I would go to as many as I could. I would go if I could.
You're sitting on the sidelines. You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem.
I bought season tickets this year. Gave them all away.
Tell you what,
I bought 10 tickets to the UCF game. Someone matched. Now we're giving over 40 total, actually.
So
Thank you to everyone.
Unlike Mike, a guy who's sitting on the sidelines as a KU fan, if I were in Kansas, I just want to just shout out to all the listeners who are in Kansas, who are in Lawrence. If I was in Kansas, I'd be there every single Saturday.
I'd love to be there.
Bare-chested, big KU.
Showing it all.
Yeah, I'd be showing it every single. So just so you guys know, not that it matters, not that it's a competition, let the record show, I am a more committed Kansas football fan. I am not part of the problem. I'm being a part of the solution. Mike, still kind of a fringe KU fan. And that's final.
What do we do? I want it. I need who's like a study of culture movements? Who would study that? I want like a professor to come tell me how to do this.
I don't know what subject is that.
I want like a Harvard culture professor
to explain to you
how KU can fix it.
Be good. I can explain it to you. Be good for an extended period of time.
They are good.
They've been good for the last 15 months. Okay.
Yeah. Well, they were 6 and 7. Better. No, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
You know where there will be fans.
Oh,
can I do that?
Transition. Look at that, guys.
I'm a pro.
Look at that segue.
I'm a pro. Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. No, I don't want to transition yet.
Oh, okay.
Because Lance Leipold, is he leaving?
Oh, right.
Are we worried? Yeah. Let's not skip past that.
I've been doing a scale of 1 to 10. 4.9, mild concern, but like not super concerned. Feldman has him as one of 2 emerging early candidates for the Michigan State job. This makes sense. No, there's no mention in there about Lance's interest in Michigan State. So, yeah, it makes sense that he would be a top candidate. I think we'd all agree. It just he's done an amazing job so far. So if you're Michigan State and you're looking around at who gives us the best chance to win in the midst of this chaos, yeah, Lance Leipold is a really attractive option. So it makes sense. Not super concerned at this point. Michigan State has really deep pockets as far as I can tell. I do believe contact has been made with Lance's camp.
Contact has been made, folks.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe it. Somehow, however they can spin it to say that that's not true, but I do believe contact has been made through proxies or whatever. So yeah, I'm sure. Chris Kleiman at K-State came out and said, I'm not going to Michigan State. That would make me feel a little better if Lance would do that. But at the same time,
he did go on the Jim Rome show last week and said he has not addressed it at this time with the players because it's speculation. He's like, but everybody knows how I feel about being in Lawrence, which is not the same as saying I'm not going to Michigan State.
He's not going to say that. He's not going to say it.
No, because he wants another raise. He wants another raise. This is how this stuff works, right? It is leverage, whether you're interested or not. It is leverage to get more money at your current place of employment.
Or like NIL resources. I'll be curious to see what he asks for as I kind of poke around on this. Because it may not be like a financial thing. It might be a resource thing. Which is a financial thing, but just not for his pocket. I don't know yet. But I could see it. I could see it happening.
Okay. We got more money? Have you checked around? Do we have more money?
Yeah, probably.
God, we got to give
also
this
watching.
guy.
See what Iowa does.
Honestly, Lance Leipold, king in the bag right now. Like, nobody's chasing bags harder than him, and I love it for him.
I don't.
What? That's not a negative.
I know you said you like it, but what's he supposed to do?
Exactly this. I'm not criticizing him. I'm just saying, he is striking while the iron's hot. Get me more.
You can't do it every
bags.
offseason, but And last year, he literally got KU to like guarantee a stadium in the contract. I still think
but it's not his stadium. You know what I mean? He doesn't get to take that with him when he leaves.
It's going to be about, I don't know. I think it could be about increasing his odds of winning, whatever he thinks that's going to take. Probably an IL and raises for assistance if needed. Stuff like that. Resources. That's part of why you play this game. That's it. So I'm not too concerned. I'm not too concerned at this point about Michigan State. Though the Feldman report coupled with the Goff statement and then Jaylen Daniels being out, it was like a miserable few days there for KU football fans.
Yeah, not a banner weekend.
I'm sorry for you.
Not a banner weekend for Kansas football. But you know what?
No.
We got another shot against
They're
UCF
here.
this weekend. And, you know, KU's favorites, even with the status of Jaylen Daniels being unknown.
KU wins and everything's fine again for the record. I'm 5-1. Like the vibes are pretty strong. Don't you think?
Yeah, KU needs to win though.
Yeah.
There's a take for you. Bet you didn't think you were getting that from me. KU must win. Is this must win status?
No, I don't see it as must win.
I don't know. I don't want 2 straight losses because then it's really gonna feel like it's last season all over again.
You know, I just okay. All right. You know who will win this weekend?
There we go. Now you can do it.
The Kansas basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
They will win a scrimmage.
Late night in the Phog, Friday night.
Yeah,
Late night always kind of creeps up on you. It's like, whoa, that's this weekend? Yep. Late night in the Phog. So it still will mark like 1 month from when they played their first exhibition game, right, against Illinois, that Hawaii charity game up in Champaign. But yes, late night in the Phog, Flo Rida will be in attendance. Cooper Flag will not be in attendance. That's a decent trade-off though, right?
KU was not happy with that Flag surprise this week to where he canceled his visit fairly unexpectedly. But you know what, actually?
What's worse? What's worse, not having Jaylen Daniels versus Texas or not having Cooper Flag at late night?
It's Jaylen Daniels against Texas.
Okay. For
sure.
You're a big recruit. You're a big recruiting guy now.
I know. It's wild that that's happened. But
do you love it? Do you love being a recruiting guy?
No. You know what? The recruiting grind does not stop, especially with the portal at this point. Like, oh my God, there's no break. I don't like it. Like, I want to get into the games. Maybe there'll be a break once the season starts a little bit, but then we're in the season. Can I say something about Flo Rida for a minute, or do you want to talk about Cooper Flag more?
No, I'm actually interested to hear what you have to say about Flo Rida.
There were a lot of takes about Flo Rida being a disappointing act for late night in the Phog, and I just could not disagree more with those takes.
Let me pause real quick. I'd like 30-second timeout. 30-second timeout. Actually, it'll be less than 30 seconds. Before Mike continues with this take, I just want to remind everyone that last weekend he did say he loved going to Sandbar because he would always request the song Timber, and they would always play it for him. So, Mike, continue with your Flo Rida.
That's somewhat ironic, but that's a good timeout. Flo Rida, radio bangers. It's a perfect late night guest. Your Kansas basketball. What do we think we're getting for Midnight Madness? Last time the profile was raised, the school had to apologize because of Snoop Dogg and strippers, which was awesome, by the way.
Who was it last year?
Someone old? Oh, Shaq. DJ Diesel.
DJ Diesel. Yeah.
Which is like, a scene. It's probably worth a scene. Here's the thing. Like, Flo Rida is going to be fun. He will have songs that a lot of you will be like, oh yeah. And I know this one. I am pro Flo Rida.
Will he play apple bottom jeans?
And the boots will have fur. Yes.
Yeah.
Whole club looking at her. Like, okay. I didn't even do a good job at that rant. Like,
You want to start over?
The Flow Rider disrespect is unacceptable. It's wrong. Like objectively wrong. Music, you can have an opinion, but the disrespect is wrong. Flow Rider is going to be awesome and fun. And shout out to the recruits who will be there and will get to see Flow.
Okay, so here's where I'm going to push back a considerable amount, by the way. The whole idea behind bringing these musical acts in, and I fucking love it when I hear this from like people like you, not like you. That's unfair, but like people who seem to be experts on recruiting, right? Everybody will say, no, this matters for the recruits. All right, it does. These sorts of things matter for recruits. Is putting on a show that does influence their decisions. Oh yeah. Okay, let me know when one of the recruits in attendance on Fridays, like, you know what pushed it over the edge was the Flow Rider performance. Like when he came out and started singing Apple Bottom Jeans, that's when I knew this was the place that I wanted to play. Dude, I'm sorry. But Flow Rider sucked when I was young. Okay, no. Even when I was hip and he was hot, Flow Rider was not cool. And he's certainly not cool now, 10 years after he was relevant in the music world.
Could not disagree more.
This is, okay, if you're going to do this, then just bring back Run DMC, right? Just go ahead and just go completely off the map. These recruits don't give a shit about Flow Rider, Mike. Are you kidding me?
No.
They don't listen to Flow Rider. These kids do not listen to Flow Rider. Nobody listens. I know people do, but like, they play him all. He's a top 40 guy. This is not a late night guest.
A top 40 guy is a late night guest. That's what late night is. And you know what?
Not cool, though. It's not cool. Bring Kesha.
You know what happens?
Then just bring Kesha. She has top 40 hits.
Kesha,
why don't you bring her?
Awesome.
Bring Pink.
I'm down. Oh, Pink would be amazing. What are you talking about? Pink's a great.
So you just love effort. So no matter who I suggest, you're going to think it's cool.
Say someone else.
If Flow Rider had a concert a mile away from your house, would you go?
Interesting. Yeah, I'd probably go.
Oh, fuck, you would not. No fucking
Is
way.
it free? Is it free?
Listen, I am of the belief this doesn't really matter. Let me ask you this, because this kind of brings me to my next point. Is late night
Don't
washed?
smoke crack. Don't smoke crack.
Is late night washed?
Late night's been washed. That's why if you don't have Flow Rider, do you know what's going to happen? It's going to be even worse. People are going to be bored out of their mind. Yeah, late night is washed. They've got to fix it. Like it's too long. There's too much downtime. The videos are like not really good. Like they got to change it up. It's got to be changed up.
So now you're going after Rock Chalk Video. Okay.
No, I'm just saying that it's like too clean.
Oh, you want to get raunchy with it?
Just like it's so cookie cutter. It's so PG. It's not realistic.
You're PG Flow Rider.
That's a great song. That song comes on, and they're coming out at halftime in Morgantown.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Musburger, mostly like 2000s pop punk and radio.
Shitty. So this is what we're learning. Okay, so now you have just delegitimized yourself as an authority on this topic. You listen to shit music.
What do you listen to? Like Morgan Wallen?
Remember the first episode we did, and I tried to get you on Morgan Wallen?
Yeah.
No, I just mostly just universally beloved music is typically what I go to. Anything that people love, I like to listen to. I'm
so pissed about this that we could keep going about it, and we shouldn't. How do you fix late night, Nick? What do you do to fix late night? I don't give a shit about what you listen to now. You've upset me.
Okay. Yeah, the dances aren't really doing it for me anymore. The skit, they used to do the skits, like when they did the old school skit, that was pretty good. Like all that stuff.
Pretty Eyes never guarded anyone in this league.
Maybe it just is washed. Maybe it's just unsalvageable. Maybe that's it, man.
they're going to drop some new lights on us. That'll be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Red and blue lights and stuff.
I knew somebody. I know somebody who was in on the construction crew there, so I've got inside info. Yeah,
what's the take?
That they're installed.
Okay, there's no line. Yeah, they're cool.
No.
Okay, all right,
that's it. You got your scoops, I got mine, and who's to say that one scoop is better than another? Scoops are scoops.
I had that Cooper Flag scoop. I got beat by like 5 minutes. Pretty upset.
Scoop game. Yeah. Scoop game waits on nobody. Okay. I will say this: late night this year, a little bit more interesting because we get to see. Well, you know what? It's not even the debut of Hunter Dickinson because we saw the Puerto Rico stuff. So it's like, all right, well, even that part of it is no longer the case of like getting to see these guys.
The big dick is in the building though, and we haven't seen the Australian dick.
Oh, dude. Okay, we talked about Oteri Morris last week. Newsflash, he's no longer with the team. Got arrested, charged with rape.
Where are you going with this?
Not great. I'll tell you where I'm going. Oteri Morris no longer with the team opens up a path for playing time for Johnny Furphy. If there wasn't one already, there certainly is now. This is Furphy's team. That's who I'm most excited about. Friday night, late night with the Furf. That's the name we're going with on Friday. Furf Dog in Allen Fieldhouse. That place is going to go nuts for Johnny Furphy. Who are you more excited to see, Hunter Dickinson or Johnny Furphy?
Oh, Furphy, for sure.
Dude, I've never been this excited for the debut of a Kansas newcomer than I am for Johnny Furphy.
What about Josh Selby?
Selby was up there, but we had to wait a few weeks into the season to
that's part
see
of
him play.
Part of what did it. But no, Furphy, this is honestly, if they just made it the Furphy show, I think I'd be back in on late night. Also, the broadcast is so bad, but what are they going to do? Sorry.
What do you mean? What's up with the broadcast?
Have you ever done an ESPN Plus broadcast of Late Night in the Fog?
Yeah, I've done it. I don't know. I really, honestly, I haven't watched Late Night in a few years. Not appointment viewing anymore. It's not appointment viewing anymore. Okay.
You're on the fringe. You're on the fringe. I will be there Friday night. My wife will be like, "What is happening?" Every year.
I will not read or view anybody who does like breakdowns of the scrimmage after that game. That we will learn absolutely nothing.
What about Furphy?
Unless it's Furphy, yeah. Just give me highlights. Just give me highlights of Furphy doing 360 windmill dunks, and I'm all in. Which, by the way, let's debut our game. Well, I guess another game that we did last week. It was such a smash success doing a draft. We're gonna do it again. We've got another draft, Kansas basketball edition, because of Johnny Furphy, because of Hunter Dickinson, two highly anticipated KU
because
newcomers.
Of Flo Rida.
It has nothing to do with Flo Rida. Maybe, you know what though? Maybe on the video clip out we put on social media, I'll throw some Flo Rida behind it. Would you like that?
Yeah, really bad. Yeah.
I'll throw apple bottom jeans behind it. Yeah, that'll be perfect. I want to do a draft of the best KU newcomers under Bill Self. Okay, so not just freshmen, anybody, any newcomer, anybody who is new to the team. And we're not going off based off anticipation. We're going based off of how they performed in their first season under Bill Self. Does this make sense?
Performed in first season only. What happened after that, irrelevant.
So best newcomers, right? Best newcomers.
Okay. Right.
You were new to the team. Here's how you performed. We're going to do a draft 5-on-5, just like we did last week. And since I got the first pick last week, I am going to cede the first pick to you.
Wow. Is there an obvious first pick? Because I didn't rank these.
Well, you know what? I think this bodes well for me because I did rank them.
Is there an obvious first pick?
I don't think it would be, met with 100% approval, but there's one name that is probably coming first to mind for a lot of people. Again, this is not what they did with their entire careers. It's just what they did. Yeah, it's just what they did with their first season with Kansas.
Does the team's result play into it?
If you wanted to.
All right. I guess
Please fuck this up.
I mean, I guess give me Andrew Wiggins. I don't know. He was really good. I don't think I fucked it up.
You didn't come with a lot of confidence behind that first pick.
Yeah, it's probably not great content, but I'm going to take Wiggins.
I will tell you that Andrew Wiggins was first on my board, so I don't have any issues with you taking Wiggins there. But I do love this spot of being able to get back-to-back picks. Because
you're in a good spot.
I know exactly who I'm going with picks 2 and 3. So for my first pick, go ahead and give me Josh Jackson. Just
that's my second.
Absolute stud as a freshman, and I love getting him here. I would have happily taken Andrew Wiggins, but Josh Jackson falls to me with pick 2. Very comfortable with that. And then for my next pick, I'm going to go with Joel Embiid. I know the statistics don't necessarily match up with some of the other guys on this list, but anybody who watched Joel Embiid his first year at Kansas knows that by the second half of the season, he was one of the most impactful players in college basketball. The dude was an absolute freak. He got better and better as the games went along. So I don't know if that's going to be controversial. I'm not basing this off the fact that he's been an NBA MVP now, but Joel Embiid with my second pick, feel very good about that.
It's not controversial because no one is going to blame you for taking Joel Embiid. Okay, my next pick is Dedrick Lawson. I mean, he was KU's best player on that team.
He was KU's best player on a bad team, but doesn't take away from the fact that he was one of the 10 best players in America in 2019.
Yeah. And then
you don't feel good about it. I can tell you don't feel good about it.
Well,
you need to say it with some confidence if you're going to say it,
If we're doing best player, it was Dedrick Lawson. And then I'm probably going to take Brandon Rush. He was Big 12 Freshman of the Year, I think, which is a big deal. Josh Jackson was the other one that I remembered being Freshman of the Year. And that team was on its way. And he was a big deal at the time. You're smiling.
Well, I'm smiling for 2 reasons. One, it's clear you didn't rank these guys and I did. And I'm smiling because I'm looking at my rankings list and I'm about to have my pick of the litter here between the guys I had ranked 4, 5, and 6. So I feel like I can do no wrong from here on out.
Go then show it. Show it.
For my next pick, Mike, I'm going to take Ben McLemore. Again, a guy who immediately hit the ground running. Just fan favorite, by the way. We get this guy in the building, and people are going to love us. I have Joel Embiid next to Ben McLemore, 2 of the most beloved freshmen in Kansas basketball history. Aside from what they did on the court, people just love these guys. I love the fact that I get Ben McLemore here in the 3rd round.
I had been high on my list as well. But I went with the Big 12 Freshman of the Year and national champion, Brandon Rush.
So I got a lot of wings right now. I play Josh Jackson at the 4, Andrew Wiggins at the 3, Ben McLemore.
We're making a lineup?
2. You can, if you want to.
What the fuck?
I'm kind of making.
Okay. All right.
I'm kind of making up the rules as I go along.
Keep doing your thing. Yeah. Cool.
Which way do I want to go here?
I thought you ranked him.
There's 2 guys I'm between. I know, but they were razor's edge separating.
You're probably
these 2 guys.
Both.
I'm going to go with Remy Martin. I'm going with Remy Martin based off of what he did in March. Like the fact that without him, Kansas doesn't win a national championship. I feel good about getting Remy Martin over the other guy I was considering.
Do you subscribe to the theory that I saved the season for Remy Martin? That's kind of how you and I got back in touch.
What do you think, Mike? Do you think, knowing what you know about me, do you think I am personally crediting you for KU winning the national championship?
Do you think any one percentage after, and people listening may not even know the story, but after I caused a little drama with Remy and Bill, that they rectified their situation a little faster?
What I'm learning is
that
what I'm learning is that you legitimately, not even a bit, you think you led to KU winning.
It's not about me.
Oh, fucking right, it isn't.
It's not about me, but I did save the season.
Okay, yeah, right. It's not about me, not about you, but they wouldn't have won the title.
But it was me.
You. So thank you, Mike. All right, you're up, and I think you're in a pretty significant deficit right now.
I disagree. I've got God, you're pissing me off today.
Okay.
Malik Newman. If you get Remy for what he did in March, I'm taking Malik for what he did in March. That dude scored every point in overtime to beat Duke and go to the Final Four. That, for me, made him worth everything. That was awesome.
Yeah, you drafting him for that game alone, and I don't blame you for it whatsoever.
Did you have Malik on your list?
I did. All
right. Is this my last pick? Ooh.
Yeah, and you need a big one here to salvage it. Otherwise, I think I'm going to run away with this thing.
I'm deciding between a couple.
Clock's ticking, bucko.
I know. There's two names, and I'm having a hard time between the two of them. Oh shit. Hold on. I just want to confirm something. Okay, I've confirmed.
Start the shot clock.
Grady Dick.
That's who I wanted.
Yeah.
You kind of fucked me there.
I'll tell you who else. I actually think I routed this team right on out.
Well, you closed strong. I'll give you that. You closed strong, and it's not about how you start; it's how you finish. Okay, so with the final pick, I've got about 5 or 6 guys to choose from here. Am I building a lineup? I don't think I'm going to at this point. I think I'm just gonna, best player available. That's what I'm all about. I'm not about chasing. I'm about taking best player available. And oh fuck, I kind of want to go off the board. I kind of want to get a wild card here.
Oh, I need you to. Now I'm going to shot clock. Okay. Best player.
Best player available. I'm going Darrell Arthur.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So names who weren't picked. I was choosing between Grady Dick and Xavier Henry.
Yep. He was right there as well.
Yeah. Marcus Morris was a really good freshman. Played a lot.
I did not.
I don't think he's top 5. Sharon had a good freshman year. Perry had a good end of his freshman year. J.R. Giddens. Julian Wright. Oh, no, you go.
One guy, by the way, Julian Wright, top 10 favorite KU players of all time. Love that guy.
Me too.
I had Devon Dotson on the list.
Yep. Yeah. That's a good one.
Jalen Wilson, even though it was kind of like a redshirt season, Jalen Wilson, really good his freshman season. The guy who I was legitimately considering at the end there, Silvio De Sousa. Statistically, not a banner year, but him coming in and effectively shutting down the Duke front court of Marvin Bagley Jr. and Wendell Carter at the end of that Duke game. That was maybe a hair shy as impressive as what Malik Newman did in that Duke game. But KU doesn't go to the Final Four without Silvio De Sousa.
Silvio was
great.
You
could make that argument pretty convincingly.
Also, for funsies, I wanted to shout out and mention David Padgett. First year self hit a game. Was it a game winner against Mizzou? I think it was.
The best sideburns in the Bill Self era. We giving that to him?
Oh,
Brett Olson had some good sideburns as well. He was a walk-on. That may have been the Roy Williams era. But
I'm sure we missed a good one, but I think we did pretty good of covering it. This is actually really fun.
Let us know who we missed.
I just want to let you know a little insight into my personal life. I just got a text from my dad that said new scoops with 2 question marks. And I asked him, what's the context? And he said, none, I'm just bored. So my dad's just asking if I've got any scoops today.
Do you? Can we end with a scoop?
I think it's going to be a busy week. That's all I'm going to say.
What does that mean?
Nope. I think it's going to be a busy week.
Let's play a game then. Let's play a game then, because scoops can really be, I think, divided into like 4 or 5 different categories. Someone is.
What's happening?
So
what are you doing?
Someone is leaving. Someone is dying. Someone is coming. Leaving, dying, coming. Okay, that's the game. Leaving, dying, coming. Who's leaving? Who's dying? Who's coming?
Okay, we have got to do this more. Playing leaving, dying, coming.
The new game. I just made it up on the fly.
Like leaving, dying, coming, angry. Like there's some fun ones we can add. I would say
killing. That could be a scoop. Somebody kill somebody.
Hope not. This would fall into someone somewhere. This would fall into
leaving, dying, coming, killing. There we go. That's the new game. You have to fill one of those boxes.
This would actually check the dying box.
What? Okay. Well, fine.
Yeah, we'll see what happens this week.
Don't know why
I'm laughing. For sure, so I'm not saying anything. You were shocked.
You don't know for sure that someone could be dying this week? What is going on?
I didn't say that. I just said it checks the dying box. Open to interpretation.
Okay. Well, stay tuned to the Scoops Meister in case somebody croaks this week. If somebody dies, dude, I'm going to feel so bad. I'm expunging this entire conversation out of this podcast. But we're showing it. We show it. We leave it in. So we show everything. No edits.
Now I'm nervous. All right, everyone. Have a good week.
Yeah. We'll talk to you guys next time.